RTD late night chat. Wanted to check in and see who's up and who's available to hang out a little bit. So I figure I would just check in real quick, see what's going on a late Friday night. Everyone around here is knocked out or asleep or sick. So I got some time on my hands. But anyway, my name is Mike, the host of RTD Live Talk, doing a little late night chat. And so I want to see what's going on with everybody. So as you can tell from tonight's subject matter, um, this week ended in a very interesting way. A lot of things happened today, of which I wasn't able to get to everything, but I'm assuming that you guys had a chance to stay plugged in. So definitely we can update one another on what's happening. And so just from the title alone, the Dow Jones, I've seen several articles now that throughout the week it was dropping. I actually stopped paying attention to anything that happened with the equities market and back in December. So I haven't really been following it much. So to see that it dropped significantly, and then a lot of people linking it to Jerome Powell's most recent speech or whatnot, and how things seem to be really starting to fall apart a lot faster than normal. So a lot of people right now are panicking and scared. A lot of commentators and economists and all the mainstream news sources talking about recession, recession, recession. And I'm thinking, like, we've been talking about recession, hell, since last year, 2 years ago, I think. Actually, 2 years ago, I remember officially when Michael Pinto was on the program, he was telling me about 2018 being the year. And so he would have swore that by 2018 things would have came apart at the seams, but we got through 2018 and ended a little rough as far as the equities. I remember finishing off the year in December, having several videos where I was talking about the Dow dropping 300 one day, 500 one day, it bounced back up 600 and dropped 800. So the question is, are we in for the same type of roller coaster ride right now? Or is this the beginning of an official bear market in the equities as well as the whole bond contagion? And so now that the 3 month was a 3 month treasury and the 10-year has inverted, now everyone's talking about, recession is here. All types of indicators are flashing. If you've been paying attention to alternative media, you'd have known this a long time ago. So with that being the case, welcome. Let's see what's going on out here. We got Mitt P. Hello from Florida. How you doing? Appreciate you for tuning in. Spirit is in the building. We got Dwayne. How you doing? Hello from Florida. Oh yeah, the Russia report. Nothing really high. Yeah, the Mueller report. I'm wondering about that because it's been turned over to Congress, and so now what? I mean, the whole investigation is a bunch of hogwash anyway. Because once again, I was wondering, apart from it being a deliberate attack to try to scrape up or prolong and stall and just basically waste taxpayer dollars, basically what it boiled down to, the whole Mueller investigation was basically investigating the wrong person. And there's one thing that really trips me out, and one thing that kind of got me a little unhappy about the current president's campaign, what he ran upon, because I've yet to see a special investigation on his opponent, presidential opponent. So I'm really not a satisfied citizen, man, because he promised that if he won, that he would do some investigating. I ain't really seen much. Somebody let me know if I could be wrong, but so we got low blood pressure. What up, Detroit from Texas? Texas, man. So we got Florida, we got Texas. It's up here. It's cold in Detroit. It's unbelievably cold, and spring is officially here, supposedly. It says, Mike, did you get the link I sent you? Jeff, refresh my memory. Refresh my memory. I think I got a link in regards to the retail stores. About, was it 5,600 retailers are officially closed now, or in 2019. And so I was going to attempt to do a video for that, but just didn't have the time. But you think about just that subject matter there. That's just the retail sector. So as of now, it's planned to close. These are retail stores that are planned to close in 2019. It's 5,600 or how many ever. So I'm thinking in 5,600 times the amount of employees in those locations, and I just put on average, just say 10. That puts us at 56,000 or so unemployed individuals this year alone, just in the retail sector, which, I'm assuming that's going to definitely affect the jobs numbers that so many people are oppressed about. So, Jeff, let me know if that's the article that you're referring, or the link you're referring to. It says, check out the Do One platform. MB Walter, enlighten me on that one. What's up with that one? Michael, is there an index that can show the direction of the bond market? I don't know. I would assume there would be some type of index that can measure global bond markets. And then on a side note, I read something earlier about Germany. Something in Germany. The Russell, I think it is. Their stock market there took a little bit too. So yeah, man. But yeah, as far as the index, I'm not 100% sure. I don't really know offhand. If somebody do know, feel free to let us know in the chat. Kind of surprised metals were flat, even though Federal Reserve switched to no hikes. Metals might not spike until after the bailouts. Blake, man, that's another thing. And so, prior to looking to go live, I was thinking about, with all the things that happened today on the surface from the whole recession fears. And so I got this article in front of me here. And so this is just within the last 6 hours. But if you guys, let me see if you guys can see it. Probably not. But let me figure out how to get an angle at this. So I can get an angle. No, it's going to be too bright. But anyway, it says Dow drops more than 450 points. S&P posts worst day since January amid global growth worries. And then if you read through it, it talks about, it says, it's quoting somebody here, says that there's a host of worries out there, and those worries continue to mount, said Peter Cardillo, chief market economist at Spartan Capital. Quote, the fear of recession is increasing. And so my thing is, another article I read mentioned that the fear of recession is real, but it usually takes, as they mentioned, 6 to 12 months for it to show up officially. And I'm thinking, like, I would imagine, and let me know if I'm wrong, but we have been talking about these type of issues last year sometime. So perhaps when we were talking about recession, middle of 2018, based upon all the people who were saying, according to their different indexes and their indicators, that we were heading to one or in one at that time, that was 6 months, almost 12 months ago. So is it possible that the recession that the mainstream economists fear could be amongst us now? Because recession talks have been going on for quite some time now. So I'm thinking they're behind the curve. So I would imagine that we are officially, with all this stuff happening now, especially Jerome Powell probably solidified a recession, because when he said no more hikes, that means basically just we're about to flatline the economy in hopes of not, as they always fear, about overheating the economy. So in doing that, that's going to cause some type of ripple effect of something else, especially the bond market. So people, I think it's official we're in a recession now. And I'm sure you would agree, by a show of hands, anybody out there would be willing to agree that these are all similar activities in the inverted yield curve from the 3-month to the 10-year, according to what I just read. The last time that happened was in 2007. And so we know what happened shortly thereafter and during that time frame. So by a show of thumbs up, would people be willing to agree that, we've been in a recession for a while, or it's official at this current point to where we don't really need to listen to, PhD economists to tell us their theories or hypotheses? But anyway, keep on moving. It says kind of surprised metals. Yeah, so metals, back to my point about metals. I was thinking that with everything that happened today, especially, it would have been ideal for metals or possibly, cryptocurrencies to do a little spike up. But I don't really think nothing happened. And so what I'm anticipating, what I believe could be in the works or coming, is that there will be a slam down, and they'll attempt to slam down the price of metals. And if they're smart, they would also do the cryptocurrency sector as well, because a lot of people are excited waiting on this spike. I think it'd be very timely if they did a bid on the crypto sector too, where there's that next plunge that a lot of people are saying is coming. So I'm anticipating this weekend, definitely by Monday, to see some type of correction in some other type of markets as a part of the whole manipulation aspect, so that the American public or the global, so that citizens themselves don't have anywhere to escape or run as a hedge or a place of confidence outside of the dying bond market, as well as the Dow that's about to take a plunge off the cliff. So yeah, that's what I'm anticipating, man. Anybody agree with me? Spirit says, Mike, I've been coding and YouTube idea to help the channel. YouTube idea to help the channel. Had to drop it because YouTube sucks badly. Anyway, I coded a small chat bot with the pieces left over. Try typing phone or BTC or gold. Try typing phone or BTC gold. Spirit. I got the first part of that. I'm not sure about the second part. Elaborate a little bit more for me. Lennox, how you doing? Faith, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in on this Friday night, late night chat. This is the recessionary / Dow Jones late night talk. Want to get you guys' thoughts on what you expecting come Monday morning. Is this something we should expect from here on out, or a lot more people, a lot more news sources are talking about recessions. So they're saying the recession could be coming. I'm thinking, dude, we're in a recession right now with all this stuff happening. Kevin from New York, how you doing, my friend? Good evening, everybody. Mr. Miguel says, gold and silver. Get your weight up. Nothing will come from it, and Congress will never get the full report. AG Bar is the only one that will see the whole report. Dwayne, that could be the case. And as far as I really didn't think anything would come from it in the first place, so that's why, I doubt that whole investigation would really do any in-depth investigating into the true culprits of what's happening in this in our governmental structure, because some of the primary people who were responsible for getting that started have already left office and haven't been mentioned since, and someone has gone MIA. I saw somebody mention when's the last time there's been a public sighting of of Hillary Clinton anytime soon. So I wonder what's going on with all that. 81 degrees today, man. Nice. Mr. Miguel from Ohio, how you doing? Hillary will go to jail. Just wait and see. If not, the justice system is not bipartisan. The Clintons seem to be untouchable. And Dwayne, that's what I'm getting at. I mean, I really have no expectations. I don't really expect the current administration to make America great again. I really don't. I'm not hanging my hopes on any of that. I will believe that he's a genuine man of his word when he delivers on what got me excited. What really excited a lot of America was when he was running for president on the stage during the debate. And when it got heated, he said, if I win, I'm going to make sure we do a special investigation into some of your, I think he said criminal activities or whatever activities he referred to. And when he said that, I'm like, okay, that's what I'm talking about. Let's see if this man lives up to his word. And so far, I haven't seen anything. So I don't really have much hope with anything else. Stock market is falling. William, yeah, man. So that's what we're talking about, man. Like, is this just a continuation from what happened in December, or could this be the start of something a lot worse? I'm curious to find out what you think, because I think as a result of Jerome Powell's decision to no longer hike rates this year and possibly one time next year, that means, as I said the other day, within that 12 to 24-hour window that I mentioned of anything could happen, expecting the worst, is pretty much sealed in the bag. Because you think about the idea that the whole point in raising rates was to return to some type of comfortable and cushion for the ability for central banks to respond for that next crisis. And in prior history, it's always been 5 or 6% of the Fed interest rates, but now they're done hiking rates now. So he's basically saying that for the next 24 months that, he's not prepared to do anything upward. So that lets me know that the only thing they're probably expecting or embracing for is the need to then go down with those rates. And we've been down at this point for 10 years now. So the question will be, how low can it go? And then if they try to do something else, I can see them trying to implement some other alternative monetary tool or policy that would not necessarily make the rate drop, They might just do something else that we ain't seen, man. I really believe that they are right now contemplating doing something that perhaps we have not seen, or a lot of people, Peter Schiff's and all the others, very smart individuals, saying the Q4 or quantitative easing or whatever they're going to call it, as I mentioned the other day, quantitative basic income is coming to to a bank account. It's going to be direct deposit into your account pretty soon, I believe. But that's just me. Spirit says RTD bot says 1 gold ounce equals USD 1330. Spirit, I'm curious to find out what that is about, man. It says Google the donations and the financial power of the Clinton Foundation. The ship is sinking. Spirit King, RT bots. So Spirit, I'm trying to see what you're talking about here. Spirit King says RTD bot says +1 313 462. So that's the number, but I'm trying to figure out how the bot and what you're talking about on the phone. So if I dial something, it's going to give me something, a price or something. I don't know. I'm trying to follow along. It says, do you think it's odd that the Dow is down almost 500 points after the hours this Mueller report is turned in? I'm sure that it's all interconnected somehow, some way. But yet, another thought that I had in mind is that, perhaps right now it is that time to really begin allowing things to unravel from the seams, because with Jerome Powell basically mentioned that they're not hiking no more. They're basically saying that, they're willing to just let this thing ride out and see what happens. And the USD, I've seen a lot of people talking about the USD, the Dixie, the index. I haven't paid much attention to it because I really don't, just because in Rethinking the Dollar, I don't really focus on the actual international currency measurement tool amongst all those other worthless currencies from an international trading standpoint, because at the end of the day, they're all going to return to intrinsic value. So I don't pay much attention to it. But a lot of people mention about the dollar possibly getting a lot stronger soon, and then that becoming a problem, and that they're going to have to address as well. So definitely, it could be interconnected somehow, some way, but I'm not 100%, man. Curious to find out what you think. Sandra Felder says, I don't think there will be much talk about the economy on Monday. Most likely there will be a distraction story of little substance. Very true. But my only thing is, you don't really have to talk much about the Dow dropping, and you can't really hide it unless there's some type of extreme distraction, because you have a lot of retirees, a lot of people that are heavily invested into that particular financial vehicle. They're going to be watching it regardless. So I believe that a lot of people who are in retirement or near retirement, those are the people that are most concerned about where the Dow goes. Me personally, I don't have skin in the game to that extent to where I'm concerned about losing much. So I'm not of the mind frame that's going to be of value to me for retirement anyway. So you guys saw my video the other day in regards to what I believe has more value than some companies that have overinflated their share prices for the sake of profiting their executives. So yeah. But what does it say here? It's coming. I'm behind in the chat. It says, 100-year-old supplier and vendor of my business went under a few weeks back in their booming economy. 100-year-old supplier. Alan, that's real, man. Yeah, man. A lot of older companies that have been sound and stable have been able to withstand themselves through many recessions, the Great Depression. All of a sudden, for whatever reason, they're not able to do it in this current environment. So I'm wondering, that's a true indicator of how serious this thing could be, because they, those companies, like I'm assuming like the gentleman you're referring to, you said 100 years in the business. So they've been through something. They've been through everything that's semi-major, including the Great Depression. So if they were able to weather that and still stick around and continue to, keep their doors open, but all of a sudden now it's not possible or not likely or not worth it anymore. Yeah, imagine all the other companies that we don't know about that's going under. Yeah. Yeah, man, not good. It says Google the donations and financial power cleaning. Okay, I'm behind the chat. Negative rates. Where did you get the gram of gold? Jeff MacArthur. Beneath this video, there's the RTD Gold team, and so it's a network marketing / affiliate opportunity that I'm a part of that I use for myself to get my weight up, and a part of the whole community building aspect. You can bring on partners or whatnot. So that's where I get it from. So I stack, just because I find it. I like the whole business model, and I like the idea of being able to get my gram up, and I automate it. So I don't worry about it. It just pops up in my account. I have it shipped to me, and less headache for me. So the link below the video, if you're interested, can give you more information about that. But that's another thing. Yeah, these are extremely exciting times to be able to not really worry about stocks and bonds, because when you're holding real money, it's like, okay, wait for everything around you to crumble, and what's going to be left over. Things that's been around for a long time, things that have historical value to them, in my opinion. You can get grams of gold at pawn shops. Yep, you can get gold. You can get grams anywhere you want. That's the good part about it. And so now that the whole Basel III situation is becoming more discussed topic, more people, I'm seeing more and more people talking about gold, gold, gold. So I like the idea that gold is getting a lot of coverage, man, because I know we got a lot of silver bugs out here. So I never want to exclude the silver bugs, but either way, you can't go wrong. And so it's one of the things where, yeah, most people think gold isn't affordable, but yet, it's definitely, you can get a gram for $45, $50, give or take. And then what I like even more so is, as you guys mentioned or seen, I have those cash gold notes, which are the smallest denomination of gold that you can get for under $10. So yeah, it's no excuse not to get your weight up in some form of fashion. Nobody is talking about perhaps the worst agricultural disaster in American history. Nobody is paying attention. Whoa, I think I'm saying that correctly. Very true, man. That's one thing I do not know. I have not really discussed the agriculture side of things, so feel free to let us know. And if you got some insight on it, give me a call, man. My phone line is open, 313-462-0027, and educate us all. So that's why I forgot to tell you, you guys, if you're interested, if you got something in your mind, feel free to call in, 313-462-0027. Let your voice be heard. We can do that tonight. It says, Mike, if you type on the chat, gold, it says the price of gold. If I type on the chat, it says the price of gold, BTC for BTC, etc. So if I type on the chat, personally, if you type on the chat, so from the phone, my phone, I can't type on the chat. I don't know how to tap on the chat. If you type on the chat gold, it says price of gold, BTC for BTC, etc. So we might have to, I need some instruction manual for that. Or is anybody else out there able to recognize what Spirit is mentioning about in the chat, typing gold and getting prices? You will hear news on the Miller Report this weekend. Dwayne, so that's the thing is, Dwayne, let me ask you a question. What do you anticipate on here? Anything in particular? Have you been following it to where everybody that's involved? And I haven't been following it that much, other than just hearing about certain events and how they've been trying their best to, find some Russian and Trump collusion throughout the last couple of years. But even though I read somewhere he borrowed, something $1 billion from a German bank or Russian bank, or who the hell? I mean, come on, man, we got worse problems. You can trade crypto, forex, stock, block quiz, quotes, new with digital currencies. Do.1. Good stuff, man. Put that link in the chat, and if people are interested, they can get that done. /gold. Nothing. Low blood pressure. Spirit King. RTD bot says 1 gold ounce. Okay. So I think so. Spirit, are you typing in RTD bots? When you put that in, that's what comes up from what you see, and we're seeing what you typed in? Because we might have to. I mean, I like the idea that you got some creativity going on in here. Just got to figure out how to get it working. where everybody can understand, because I think that's got something neat going on there. It says, what is your prediction about what will happen this summer with the economy? Jeff, what is my thoughts, my predictions? It appears that we're almost out of the third month, but to be only 1/4 of the year into it and already have so much stuff that just seems like it could be any type of initial domino to fall over. I anticipate more job losses from big time corporations. Like I'm anticipating some big time layoffs from high ups on down. Therefore, more unemployment from the service sector jobs, as well as all the cashiers and whatever is going out, stores that are closing, which will then probably spark, as soon as the weather turn period marches. So I can see the fight for 15 people in those states. I think 21 states now have acknowledged that the increase of wages, they're about to be laid off, or their jobs are going to be automated or hours cut. So they're going to be pissed. So I anticipate this summer there being some type of movement in the streets. And if that France situation is still going on, I can see a lot of people who are just underpaid, overworked, and everything in between hitting the streets this summer, to where we have some type of social movement here, where it's like, let's get in the streets and let's demand more pay, better jobs, and equality and rights and all that type of stuff. So I think this summer is going to be protests big time, because all these jobs that are being lost now, it's hard to get on the streets now when it's cold as hell. But when the weather turns, expect more people in the streets. And then that right there would then lead to more people probably deciding to walk off the job in support of the people who got fired. And so more layoffs, more protests, and from that, even less consumer confidence in spending. So it's going to be a chain of events happening, man, of which I think is going to lead to a lot of people in the streets pissed. It says that gold price is up 200 from 3 months ago. Is anyone aware of the price of gold and silver is clearly listed on the debt clock? The biggest secrets in history, we have always been in the planned sight. We will see those prices in 47 years. Jeff, yeah, man. And that's all because every Federal Reserve note or Federal Reserve digital currency that's in existence have to be accounted for in terms of how much paper it takes to acquire one piece of a metal. And so there you have the idea that the total supply of metals, total supply of papers gives you a nice little number in the middle. And that's just the paper that we know about. I imagine there's a lot more paper that we do not know about, which means those prices of metal that equate for all that excess liquidity and paper throughout the last how many ever years will probably be a lot higher than that. But that may not necessarily be something that you should want right now. Because if you see 6,000, 7,000 silver, 50,000 type gold, that means that everything else in the form of everybody's savings account, all those investment tools, CDs, annuities, insurance policies, all that stuff was probably inflated away in order for that silver and gold price possibly to be what is so exciting to people who've been accumulating and saving sound money. So there's going to be a give and take there, man. Still working with the code, but YouTube really doesn't want people using their chat externally. Soaring inflation will force nationwide martial law. Yeah, but in the next 12 months, 24 months, it's possible. I just don't see it. Mark Snyder, no presidential campaign for me, man. Yeah, I'm not the one for that. I remember reading a lot of history books and just seeing how in the beginning, George Washington, John Adams, all those guys, especially George Washington, how apparently he didn't want to become a president. A lot of people didn't want to be a president because of the true demand of sacrificing your life for your country. And this is like before, now it's like, special interests run the country. So you scratch some backs, they scratch yours, you're good. You do what they tell you to do, you're good. Now I'm talking about like where a true president where you got to make decisions for the country that might piss off a lot of people at the risk of you probably being assassinated. Most presidents that decided not to play games that they were told didn't make it through their entire presidency. And so everybody else that got through their presidency played the game. So I don't want to be in that position, man. I think that's just not for me. I don't think that's my calling. Hyperinflation this summer. That's a hard one. Hyperinflation, that's a hard one. I don't see hyperinflation just because I don't see all the dollars around the world, and there's more. I think there's more $100 bills outside this country, which is where people just tend to store most of their wealth in high denomination notes. I don't see those $100 notes getting back into this country in that short of a time frame to cause hyperinflation. And so we will see inflation initially after this next quantitative round if it's directly injected into the system. And from a consumer standpoint, we will see higher prices, but I don't think it'll be hyperinflation. But that could be the trigger, in my opinion, for all those governments and citizens and all those people sitting on large amounts of Federal Reserve notes in their savings as a hedge against their own currency. I can see them looking to spend those notes at that point while we're over here counterfeiting money. Not we, but while they're over here counterfeiting these notes, I can see those notes flooding back in as far as acquiring real estate and property and whatever else, which would then increase the monetary base or monetary currency in circulation that much faster, in my opinion. But I'm curious to find out what you guys think. And if you want to get your voice, if you want to let your voice be heard or other people to hear your voice, give me a call, 313-462-0027. Phone line is open for those who want to call in. Love to hear your voice. They are just bailing. It's not the economy. What are we calling this depression? Florida Oro. So question for you, Florida Oro, is, so I see you have gold at the back of that. And so assuming that you are is that possible of Spanish descent or what? How did that name come about? What exactly does that mean? I'm curious. But as far as depression, what are we going to call this depression? Just the thought of it, man, just doesn't sound exciting. I don't want to play around with that one. I'm not sure what we will call it because we got to live through it. Hopefully are able to get through it. But in the history books, if we were to fast forward 20 years, because if it was 10 years of economic expansion artificially, I would imagine it's going to be another 10 years of a so-called some down years, in a sense to probably being downgraded from our first world status, taking a little lifestyle cut for everybody here in this country. So with that being the case, it could be, I don't know, the age of awakening, monetary awakening. Everybody around the planet realized that they were bamboozled by debt. And so we had to get back to the ground and get back to using our hands and building and growing and at a much cheaper cost. So the great age of awakening. Yeah. Because so yeah, that's just my idea. What do you guys think? All they do is kick the can down the road economically. Perhaps the only chance to kick it further is negative interest rates and universal basic income. Blake, yeah, that's where it seemed like it's going. And so with all that UBI talk being mentioned, we got an entrepreneur running for president, getting everybody excited about what is it called? A freedom dividend. Andrew Yang talking about a freedom dividend, that we're entitled to a dividend based upon, using a VAT tax and making the wealthy pay for it, as if the wealthy are going to sit around and let themselves be taxed to death. So I'm not sure. So the depression is the best thing that can happen to us stackers. Low blood pressure. The best thing that can happen. I don't really agree with that, because, and that's where I mentioned, I think in a video the other day, talking about what we're encountering right now and what's in the making is just more than a financial matter. So, we're thinking, that statement there lets me know that right there mentions that financially, monetarily, those that have metals will be okay. They're going to get through regardless. But I think it's a lot deeper than that because it's going to be a culture shock and a paradigm shift like we could have never imagined before. Because all we've known as citizens in this country here, we've only known luxury. We've only known the high life. Everything we need or want, we have at our fingertips at a drop. We can Uber food to our house. We can do more things than the rest of the world can ever only dream about. That's why everybody for so long wanted to come to America. And that's what's at stake. And so financially, I don't think there'll be any amount of money that you can really probably have that could make up and provide the comforts in a society that has been downgraded drastically of quality of life. So like having a big house and all these things that you can probably buy may not be as enjoyable if the majority of people around you are suffering and not in the best shape and down and out and have lost all their wealth, lost all their retirement, lost everything that they saved. You won't feel comfortable living good, smiling, do just because you were aware. I think you're going to be a little bit more cautious. You're going to be more conservative. You're going to be more hush hush with yours. You're not going to be flaunting, and you're going to have to play the game like everybody else if you're sitting on something, because if not, you won't have it long. So the culture shock and the paradigm shift that comes along with being downgraded, from the number one nation on the planet because we were able to import everybody's goods and services and export debt will no longer be the case. So, yeah, that's why I mentioned this. It's just, I don't really see stackers being okay. Like that, we're just taking care of one particular area of our lives and when it comes to finances. But the other stuff is what really concerns me, where, we're probably far off from being able to really imagine that right now, not knowing how bad or how mild it may get. So just my thoughts there. Feel free to let me know if you disagree or agree. It says, I own 165 kilograms of gold and I am hollering. Dwayne, do your thing, man. It says, get ready for Basel III and call around to see how available gold really is. And so I remember watching and having talked to a couple metals people. And when it comes time to get so unless you're a heavy investor or you have like some hedge fund money or you're in need of securing millions or billions, then metals might be a little bit more easier to get a hold of in smaller quantities because not too many people are actually going out there and getting several ounces at a time. I like grams and I like smaller things that I don't mind being able to part ways with if need be. I would hate to have a big brick of gold that I'm just sitting on that thing because I can't do nothing with it. Like it's probably worth $1 million, but if I can't chip it off because I don't know the value of it. So yeah. So with that being the case, I think having possession of things of that nature will serve you well. But yet, I've never really been able to pinpoint how much you need. I mean, that type of thing. And so I could take the conversation somewhere else in regards to the whole retirement aspect. Been putting together some thoughts on approximately how much weight a person might need in relation to the term of how much money do you need to retire off of. So I've seen Fidelities, and actually in one of the old infographics I did mentioned that, if you had $1 million or whatever gave you a number. I did some calculations on grams and how many grams I would need to equate to the equivalent of $1 million if the currency was inflated away. And it was quite interesting. But I'm just rambling again, so forgive me. But we got a call. Let's see what's going on. Call it up. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, how you doing? This is Wade. I'm calling from overseas.
Wade from overseas. How you doing, my friend? What's on your mind this evening?
All right, I'm doing all right. enjoying your podcast, dude.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks for tuning in. So it's probably early morning there for you, late night for us here. So yeah, but no, what's on your mind, boss?
Yeah, I was having everybody to look at start looking for a lot of major companies to start giving out golden handshakes for
Go.
early retirement. We saw major companies do that. I think that's going to be a sign of economy going down. What they're doing is getting rid of all the retirees.
Yeah.
All people older as this economy turns down.
Mm-hmm.
They want to divorce themselves from taking care of the employees and the things that are going to come with that once the downturn comes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because as they get rid of that means their money. They get rid of the higher paid employees. They can bring in new employees at a lower rate.
Yeah.
Which at that time also that help the company. They also help them with their insurance with their employees also.
Yeah.
So they would save money from that because you have younger employees at a cheaper rate, and it's not going to cost the company that much money because your employees are healthy and they won't miss many days on the job, which would affect the bottom line to the corporation.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree 100%. And that's all part of what I always call that corporate restructuring that everybody seems to be doing now. And restructuring tends to mean firing. So everybody's laying off now. And I actually read something the other day talking about, I think it was an automotive manufacturer, I think, mentioned about looking to offer, because we know GM extended a buyout to 40, 50,000 people last year. Some people took it, some people didn't. So this spring, this summer could be the year of massive, as you say, we say golden handshakes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Golden handshakes.
Golden handshakes. Yeah. So this.
In the aircraft industry, there's three major aircraft companies that are thinking about and probably will implement these golden handshakes. And I have a chance to see, go through a couple of those coming up, and one that how when they gave those golden handshakes, how our economy took a hit, and we had a downturn. It was back in '86 they did the same thing, and then before that, back in '97, they had one, and then in 2008 they had another. And once those people took those buyouts, they gave 6 months later they turned the insurance down to where the insurance cost them like double of what they had to what they paid for.
Yeah.
So their insurance they were handling for after they retired, it ate most of their most of their income.
Man, golden handshakes. That's my first time hearing that particular term. So man, that's something to be on the lookout for. So you said 3 airlines. You know of 3 airlines, or you're expecting 3 airlines?
Yeah, and I've already talked to people that they've already discussed it with them.
Yeah.
And then it's another way too, what people understand too, is another way as they give these golden handshakes. It's another way for them to break also the union too away from these companies.
Yeah.
Because younger generations they don't attach themselves to unions. At that time, the unions, what they understand, fight to get more hourly increase or hourly pay. But once they divorce themselves from that, the whole another. Then they have to follow the FET part of being getting money, which we know FET, the free enterprise, is not going to carry them like that.
Yeah. And then they're going to fall back on the PDGC or the PGDC, that the pension guarantee, the PGDC pension guarantee deposit insurance or whatever it is. So yeah, they're not sitting on much themselves. So yeah, man, that's something. So that's a couple things.
They get rid of the pensions. Now they don't have pensions for them now.
Yeah.
So if you don't invest in your own 401k, company's not putting anything in there. So when the people, when it's time for them to retire, they're not going to have anything.
Yeah. And that's why I think that after this next episode of what's currently underway now, I think that the word retirement will be frowned upon because of the younger generation will see firsthand how the economy basically ended the dreams and hopes of the current retirement to retirees, to where it's going to shift our paradigms completely, where we may not be aiming to retire one day the way that the baby boomer generation worked all their lives and did everything and to sock away for those golden years. So I think there's going to be a shift, as I mentioned, of a paradigm earlier, that we're going to be thinking in a different way that we could have never imagined, man. So, but hey, Wade, man, I appreciate you calling in, boss, man.
Sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. The golden handshake. Yeah. Yeah, man. Something else to think about. Gold, gold, gold. People saying gold. Silver is gold. Mike, it's down now. Have to show its new stream. YouTube only allows like 2 hours of stream. What's down? I think someone is pulling our leg. The flooding that has inundated where the United States wiping away billions of tons of food and lifestyle. Oh, y'all, okay. Yeah. And so that's the thing, y'all, with the whole flood that's, hitting the Midwest area, I would assume that, I don't know. I'm not, into farming like that, but because we're in winter time, I'm assuming the crops are probably not planted, growing, booming yet, or what? Like, I thought that was spring, summer, fall type of time. Apart from anything they may do indoors or whatever, I don't know how that goes, but nobody's talking about it. Yeah, it's one thing that not nobody's talking about it because not too many people are even aware of it. So, and that's where it sounds like it's something that you're in tune with, man. So definitely, I recommend you continue to keep us up on game, and then more importantly, man, if it's something that sound like it is of importance to everybody, you got to start your YouTube channel or something, man, or a Twitter feed or something where people can connect with you to get educated. So it sounds like that might be something that might be near and dear to your heart, man. I would encourage you to investigate into that a little more. Reach out to me, man. Shoot me an email and let me know if I can help as far as helping you to bring some attention to that subject matter, because we need to eat. It says, well, this channel is about rethinking the dollar. Yeah. Like, as I said, right now it's down, but yes, it's about writing that. Well, Spirit, shoot me an email with more details on that so I can be aware of it for our next chat, so I can know exactly what I'm looking for or talking about. It says, well, when you realize what the tanking economy and the crippled food production equals a very bad situation, it should be on everybody's mind. Yeah, I agree 100%. I agree 100%, and it looks like I'm way behind. Mike, I'm buying gold with my MMT. Climate change is getting real. Yeah, weather altering is getting real. Very boring times. There's nothing to do if you don't work. And so I believe AI will take over 70 years, 80 services. I'm an internal labor provider. Robots are real and I'm screwed. That's another area of things where there's going to be an adjustment. Wade says, look at more companies to start giving golden handshakes to their employees by moving these older people out of the company. So I'm way behind in the chat. Give me a second. Let me get caught up. So I apologize if I miss your message, but it's got to scroll on the phone. So I see a super chat. So I want to definitely acknowledge that once I get to it. See some thumbs up there. And as always, people, tonight seems like to be a nice nice stream. We got a fair amount of participants here watching and tuning in. Don't be afraid to donate to the channel. Just a thumbs up. All I ask for is a thumbs up. It just doesn't take much. If you're enjoying the back and forth, show the channel some love. Support the channel with a thumbs up. Appreciate it. A. Kent, I see you. Thanks for that love offering, my friend. Says not much, but thanks for putting in the work, sir. Hey, Kent, man, I appreciate it, man. Anything is better than anything. And so I appreciate you. It could have just been a thumbs up, my friend. I'd appreciate thumbs up. Says, how do I feel about bartering? How do you feel about bartering? I think bartering would definitely be something that will be useful because everybody will have something that someone else needs, and it'll be a matter of how to measure equal value. As far as like if you got some food and I have some actual hand saws. I mean, I would prefer to get something of relative value as opposed to giving away something that's of extreme value. So that's why, I think the importance of having small denominations. And so I'm a big 1 gram type of guy, or especially silver, man. Like silver, I love 1 gram silvers. They're less than $1 right now. Like, because that little thing there, or a dime, give a person a 1964 pre-1964 dime or something like that. So yeah, definitely bartering is cool. It's just a matter of like, it's just being able to get equal value for whatever it is that you're trying to do. So I do prefer that's just my thoughts. Is all right, thumbs up. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. I did that for something. Tony, how you doing, my friend? Refresh. Home gardening. Use crypto as a form of value to exchange. Yeah, and that's assuming that the other person on the other side of that trade knows the value of it and willing to accept it with the confidence that they themselves will be able to then get rid of it as well. And so we excuse me, may not be right. We're definitely not there yet from an adoption standpoint, but it's one of them things where, in my opinion, and there's certain things that I personally would not want to willingly get rid of unless it was a dire need. And that's metals and cryptos, because I would rather get rid of paper that will be the reason for everything that we're experiencing at that point. If it gets to that point to where anything else, I would rather sit on as long as I can. And actually, as somebody mentioned about barter, I'd rather find something that you need, a canned good, and give you a canned good for a bottle of water, or however that works, man. I just hope things don't get to that point, man. I hope that, God is able to definitely, allow his own to make it through that. And that's where I stand from a faith standpoint, trusting that God has always made sure he got his people through tough times. Because, basically what it boils down to is a famine. They're all throughout the Bible. And God, for his children, for his people, always was able to provide their needs. He always gave them their daily bread. And so with that being the case, that's my hope and my confidence there. And then you got the practical aspect, the things you got to do, whatever. But what's that? Chris Ann. It says, Humphrey, all currencies return to its intrinsic value 0. Start buying gold before it's too late. Carrot Bars has affordable gold for the masses for less than $10 cash gold. Chris Ann, you right on time, girl. You ain't never been late. You ain't never been late. I've been preaching that for a minute. I got my notes right here, girl. Just got a fresh stack in the mail. Right on time. I accept Litecoin for car repair services. Not all goats are equal to value. Who created your Bible? Tony Blaylock. Is that a serious question? Or that's what we call a smart aleck question. Because you know who wrote the Bible. 7.5 people, God ducks out. 7.5 billion people and God ducks out. Nah, that's not true. That's not true. He hasn't gone anywhere. FedEx is offering buyouts for their employees. Sandra, there you go. That's where I saw. That's the article I saw that about FedEx. I think I mentioned. I saw that article in the video I did the other day, offering buyouts. Yeah, so that's that golden handshake. You're doing a great job keeping us abreast of what's most so little about. Thank you, Divine. I appreciate that. Thank you for tuning in. Where are the notes from? Low blood pressure. The notes are from Carrot Bars. They're part of that the RTD Gold team. That information there. If you guys are interested in those notes, there's 2 ways to get them. You can click the link, join the RTD Gold team, and become a customer affiliate. Or if you go to the RTD store, I'm actually selling those. And so you can go to rethinkingthedollar.com/store, and then the notes are in the RTD store. So either way, because not everyone wants to get into network marketing and affiliate marketing. So you can just buy it directly from the store, from my store. It says Bible states man in China, made in China. What doesn't say made in China? You know who wrote the Bible? That's major news. I'm trusting God, and that's it. I feel you on that one. I know too much about it. Sorry. Tony, man. I feel you, man. And yeah, we've had conversations before about that, about the spirituality of things. And that's why, I openly and willingly accept and respect everyone's opinion, because it's a faith thing. That's all. It's a faith thing. Some people have faith in, and some people have faith outside of the nature of the creator and the source of humanity. So it's been a part of this company since 2015. A lot of exciting things is happening. I agree 100%. I was thinking about Chris, and I was listening to Brian McGanty's video earlier about going to South Africa in June, I think it is. June or whatever. So I'm thinking like I would like to, so I wouldn't mind going. Bodaz said anything about Venezuela? Yeah, man. Latest on Venezuela is that they've defaulted on a loan to Citigroup of $1.1 billion, and Venezuela put up gold as collateral. And so it looks like Citibank will be selling Venezuela's gold, and since they've had it in their possession, it's appreciated in value an additional $200 million. And so it looks like the United States government has basically made it clear that they cannot send that money back to Venezuela. So they're going to deposit it in a bank in New York, and I think they're trying to get that money to Juan Guaido, whatever it is. So basically, and there's more sanctions. Just tonight, they passed sanctions on a bank. They passed sanctions on the state bank in Venezuela and the CEO because of the gold and all that stuff like that. So gold is a major topic in Venezuela, especially. Noah had faith, be like Noah. Follow Liberty Report. They had a good report on Venezuela. It says, God is answering our prayers. He is. What's Venezuela's new currency? Well, it's supposed to be the sovereign Soberano, Bolivar Soberano. But not sure what that's able to purchase these days either. Mike, there's a Muslim scholar talking gold and silver in the Quran. Opened my eyes. Imran Hussein. Low blood pressure. Imran Hussein. That's definitely something worth checking out. What's the exchange rate for silver and gold in Venezuela right now? Under this newer currency, Soberano, which you're required to slash off 3 zeros off the notes, off the price of things. So I'm sure it'd be very confusing if you try to actually go and acquire, because you have to know the the conversion from the forte to the sovereign. So the real price would be, I'm not even sure, because I remember doing a video end of last year. It was 100 million bolivars for an ounce or something. It was some crazy number. So if you chop off 3 of that, that still equals 100,000 bolivars in the sovereign notes, which the highest denomination of the sovereign note, I think, is a 500 ish, I think, or a 200 note sovereign. So if it's still $100,000 for an ounce, if you can find one, think about it. Not many people actually have the high denomination notes in the new currency anyway. So that would be that'll be equivalent to probably having to have a lot more than $1,300. It'd be a lot harder for Venezuelans to come up with that 100,000 bolivar soberanos than it would be for us possibly to come up with 1,300. Like we just need, if plus premium. So we would just need 14 $100 bills, whereas they would need of their highest denomination note. I'm not sure. I think it's 200. I think. I'm not sure. But whatever their highest denomination note in that currency, and if the gold is 100,000, just having chopped off 3 zeros, they need 50, 500, or how many 50 notes or whatever of their highest denomination notes to get 1 ounce. So not many people in Venezuela got real notes like that. So it's more favorable for us here. Herbert says, last night you asked a question about cryptocurrency and retail. I responded, but you missed my reply. My answer to you was the major luxury retailers like Nordstrom's, Neiman Marcus, and Bloomingdale. And so I think that's in reference to the question about who would be accepting, what major retailers will be accepting. And so you're saying that they will be Nordstrom's. And so those being clothing stores, they're major, but yet they're not like, I don't think they're going to be there. They will definitely jump on the bandwagon if they remain open. But I would say those 3 stores may not make it through this next little hiccup, because who's going to be buying clothes, especially overpriced clothes. So that'll be interesting to see. Yeah, the petro was just a gimmick, in my opinion. I don't think it was meant to really. It was just meant to probably just piss the U.S. off. Unknown says, if I didn't have felony warrant, I'd go to Venezuela tomorrow. Unknown, because of the restrictions, unless you have to jump through a lot of hoops to get to Venezuela right now as a U.S. citizen, because they basically put the same type of criteria that we put on them for Venezuelans to come here. You got to go through I actually called the embassy. So I was attempting to go. So you have to give them your bank account, a statement, how much money you got in your bank to make sure you're not laundering money. You have to, it was 3 or 4 crazy things of which I'm like, is that exactly what the U.S. is doing to them, to where they're just retaliating? Because when they talking about, it was that bank account, give me a bank account statement. You got to prove this, prove that. What you go in there, I'm like, it's not that big of a deal. So, yeah, I don't think, So it takes a lot more. It takes a lot more than just a passport to get to Venezuela at this point. Kroger adopted the Lightning Network. That's big news. I think that's big news. That's pretty big news. I like shopping at Kroger. I shop at third stores and I'm rich. Thrift stores. You missed thrift stores. Today in Montreal, Canada, a priest was stabbed during a mass on live TV. I heard about that. Original report said he was a Muslim. Since then, it was erased from all media and he became a white male. Really? Now, here's something that has caught my eye that I haven't heard much about. Somebody mentioned the other day in the chat, but it was what's happening in Nigeria right now, where I think it's in Nigeria, where the Christians, there's apparently just a slaughtering of Christians in our nation there, but no one's mentioned it. So I saw some videos on Instagram of some kids that were murdered, and it was the heading was in Christian village or whatever, kids, and so it was a couple of videos of just bodies laying around, man, and parents. And it touched my heart, man. I'm thinking like, man, like I understand persecution for the word's sake. I mean, the Bible makes it clear. And so that's another thing where we have a very blessed in this country, man, that we are not, we're in the land of the free still, to where we can worship and serve and express ourselves with rights that, you can't just, kill somebody just because they're not practicing what you believe and you'll get away with it type of thing. So we are very blessed here, man. So I can only find Kroger stuff on crypto channels. Yeah, same here. It says, Mike, go to Zimbabwe, you would be a trillionaire. Low blood pressure. Zimbabwe. Yeah, they're in the news now themselves. They're doing some things down there that's interesting. And speaking of which, I think it was a Wade. If you're still on, were you mentioning something about Zimbabwe issuing an open up a foreign exchange and doing something with the dollar down there? Everyone has to be careful because they are trying to get at you by snuff film. Yeah. But yeah, when you got kids, man, we got kids in films, and that stuff just doesn't feel good at all. Cape Freedom Celebration, June 7th, 8th. I'm running the incentive. You can win the 1K phone, but I will not be able to travel too close to my due date. Oh, go for it. Chris well, congratulations on the shorty coming at around that time. Basel 3 gold is money again, 100%. My RT bot says 1 BTC 4062. Spirit, you got to email me that so I know what you're talking about, because I hear you, but I'm not sure what you're talking about. But as always, people, it's been great hanging out tonight, man. I looked at the clock. It's an hour, man. It's great. And it's Friday night, and it's midnight. It's damn near midnight. Yeah, it is midnight. So this is my longest chat and my latest chat. And so we breaking records here, man. But for everybody who has been joining us and who has tuned in, I appreciate you guys spending some time with me tonight. It's been fun as always. It looks like it's about 100 and some people on here, and we got 63 thumbs up. So once again, if you don't mind, donate a thumbs up if you haven't. And that's my thing is, I'm not begging for thumbs up. I just appreciate the support, and to be able to get the even number of viewers to the even number of thumbs up would just be an ultimate high. You know what I'm saying? I think that'd be great to have everybody just give me a thumbs up. All right, there you go, Florida. There you go, Ryan James. Faith, nice to hang out with you too. All right, fam. I'll see you guys later. As always, anybody who interested in any of the things I talked about tonight, resources-wise, the gold team, the notes, they are in the bottom. Go to the RTD store, get you some notes and whatnot, get your weight up in the smallest form possible. So anyway, everybody be safe, be blessed, enjoy your day, and enjoy your weekend if I don't see you until Monday.